Hello and welcome to another Beard Clipper video. This video is my second attempt. I shot this, including the entire game, last night, and then when I came to edit I found that the microphone wasn't working and so there was no sound. And while I could do voiceovers, I figured it would be better to play the game again, not making the same mistakes as I made in the previous one, and just start it all over again and play again, because at least I got the enjoyment out of the game, and this way hopefully it will be slightly more realistic playthrough and I won't make quite as many mistakes. I will say now that if you do enjoy this content, please do consider giving me a subscribe. It's wonderful to see how many of you are doing that, and don't forget to ding the bell and select all so that whenever one of my videos goes live, then YouTube will bother to tell you, because it won't otherwise. So anyway, let's get to the subject of this video. I'm doing a playthrough of Arena, the contest, which is a fantastic Kickstarter from Dragori Games, which I really enjoy playing a lot, and I'm having a lot of fun filming these, so there'll be a few more coming. Specifically, I'm doing the Ghost Mine scenario, and I went onto the Discord. You can see an invite in the description below if you want to join us over there. And when I said I was going to do this video, when I decided to do this video, I thought I'd open up my army list, my team, to the community and see what was suggested, see if I could come up with some alternatives, some characters I'd not used, and boy did they come through. Two people gave me some good lists. Flanks gave me one. He's the guy that created the channel and created the server even, and he gave me a list which is Liana, Sir Erick, Renkyr and the Faceless Emperor, and that's the one that I'm going to be playing in this playthrough. However, the other guy, get his name right, Bam the Mighty, also gave me a fantastic list. The reason why I'm doing Flanks first is when I went to dip out all of the cards, I managed to complete his list before I completed Bam's list. However, that game, where I play the same scenario again, but with a different list, will be following maybe a week or so after this one goes live, so keep your eyes peeled for that. A lot of fun. Looking forward to playing it. Had a lot of fun last night. I'm really actually quite looking forward to playing it again now that I know the mistakes I made when I was doing the run through. I will stop nattering away now on this intro. We'll go and have a look at the scenario. We'll talk a little bit about each of these heroes and then we'll get stuck in. So to the scenario. This is, as you can see, as I said, called Ghost Mine. Read the introduction to you and then we'll talk through the rough layout. The instruction says you are in a cave deep inside the Muluite mines where ghosts seem to have materialised just enough to defend their territory and hurt trespassers such as your party. You went inside because monstrous aberrations attacked nearby villages and they seem to have come from inside these long abandoned caves. Dig your way through portals, tunnels and locked doors in search for the mighty Ghost Lord and Ghost Mage. Kill them to win this mission. Meanwhile, you may take some time to do your own excavation and loot an incredibly rare baronite ore that some ancient dwarf must have found in the mountains. This ore has a magical property that allows you to easily bind it to ordinary items, enhancing them. So clearly there are some secondary objectives here, taking the Baron's shield, which is created by combining the baronite and the spiritual shield, which are two of the chests. Kill all the ghosts and so keeping your heroes alive, but the main objective is killing both the Ghost Lord and the Ghost Mage. Now the playthrough I did yesterday, which by the way I won against all the odds, I think I know why I won, because I made a mistake through the first half of the game and missed one of the important rules. This is where the Ghost Lord is and this is where the Ghost Mage is. Now both the Ghost Lord and the Ghost Mage have a primary attack that has a range of 8 squares, and it says in this paragraph here, ghosts' vision and attacks ignore barriers. They can attack through walls. So what that means is that this particular position here for the Ghost Lord is going to boss this entire corridor. And this particular situation and position for the Ghost Mage is going to boss this corridor, and I missed that. So I managed to get through these enemies here without taking huge quantities of attack from the Ghost Mage and the Ghost Lord, and so yeah, I managed to get through. However, what I did make a mistake on is when I was drawing the evil power, I missed out where it says do a basic attack or do an attack. I missed that differential. And so I think that if you do, it says do a basic attack, then clearly the Ghost Mage and the Ghost Lord's basic attack does not have a range of 8 squares, and therefore if I can draw some evil power cards which are saying do a basic attack, then that means that I can kind of slide down the corridor without getting blasted by soul destruction and soul explosion, which are just as bad as they sound. Anyway, that there is the scenario. Let's have a quick look at the team of heroes I've got who are going to attempt to complete it for a second time in 2 nights. And then later on, when Rosie's asleep, I'll be coming back up and we'll have a playthrough and see whether I can win again or whether I lose this time. For this, we're going to have to do unsteady cam because I'm going to step across. So first of all, we've got the Faceless Emperor here, you can see. And he's pretty cool. I've never played with him before until last night. He comes actually with his tiger. So one of his special attacks, one of his, is to actually bring the tiger, summon the tiger on. And that's pretty cool because the effect is that you summon a tiger and you place it within 5 squares of you, and then that acts as an independent move. At the end of your move of the Faceless Emperor, you can then move the tiger, and he's pretty cool. He can move 8 distance. He's got a basic attack of 6. He's a pretty cool character. So I enjoyed that last night. I'm looking forward to playing him again. Next up, we've got Renkyr, the Dragon Avenger, and this is another one that I also hadn't played previously. So this is really cool to have been suggested also. So thank you, Flanks, for that. He's pretty good. His specials are not very well suited for this game, though, for this scenario, unfortunately, because it's all about stealing passive powers, and, well, they don't have any passive powers. Sir Erick the Paladin, I had played him before, and he last night proved to be pretty good when he wasn't fluffing his rolls, which he did a few times, and he was actually shown up by Liana, who is my next and final. So yeah, he's pretty good, he's pretty hard, he's got a great number of hit points, he's a very good tank, so yeah, very good. Last but not least, as I mentioned, is Liana the Pirate, and she's pretty cool. Her Revenge of the Seas, which means she is often going to be the one that's attacked, because she is often going to be the one with the fewest hit points, means that when she's attacked, she can then do a basic attack back, which could potentially do a 7 more damage, so that's a pretty cool little thing. Now let's have a look at the heroic actions that I've picked. For the heroic actions, I've chosen Heroic Absorption, remove 1 special attack from an enemy and it takes 10 damage, or an ally regains 10 health points and 1 special attack. Obviously I'm going to be using that for the second. And secondly, Heroic Revival, which did get used last night because poor Renkyr did die, got killed, but then he got brought back and made a big difference in the final fight. So that is my team. There is the board, as they say. The pieces are in place. Let's get playing. It's like deja vu all over again. Let's get this game started. One thing I want to add is there's just been a very interesting discussion on the Discord group about basic attacks from the bosses. Now the 2 bosses that we have the Ghost Lord and we have the Ghost Mage. Both of them have primary attacks that are ranged, but the basic attack does not say ranged, and there's been a very interesting discussion as to whether the basic attack should be ranged, and that's just an oversight, or whether the basic attack should not be ranged because it doesn't say it isn't ranged, even though it is maybe an oversight. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do still. I think potentially the argument that they're ranged characters and all ranged heroes have a ranged basic attack, so we should just implicitly say that they do. That makes a lot of sense. So I think probably potentially I'll do that. But it does make a difference because when I'm drawing the evil power card, and if it says make a basic attack, and if neither of those have the ability to do a ranged basic attack, then for those turns my heroes, even when they're through the walls, will not be able to be attacked. But still, that doesn't make much sense to me. I think that the point of the ranged attack, I think it makes sense. So we'll do that. We're going to do ranged attacks are possible on basic attacks for the 2 bosses. So that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work out exactly where my characters are going to start, in what positions, and I'll bring you back when that has been decided and they're in play and we're about to do turn 1. I've made my call and we're going to go for turn 1. So over on the left hand side, the Faceless Emperor and Sir Erick are together. And over on the right hand side, we have Liana with Renkyr. So let's see how this can go and if this can go differently to the previous turn. So the first thing to bear in mind is that I need to be aware at all times of where 8 from the villains are. So if I zoom out a little bit, we can see here in the center this is where one of the villains is, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's nothing you can do to get out of the range of that one. So we may as well just crack on and get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the Faceless Emperor, who can move 6. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then what we're going to do here, let me zoom that in a bit more. What we're going to do here is we're going to do a special attack straight away, which is going to be summon the tiger, because that is a cool attack to do, and I like having the tiger on board as quick as possible because it is extra strike points. So summon the tiger is a 2 square range, though I've gone up as close as I can for reasons that you will see. And you can place the tiger within 5 squares of you, and it does 16 damage on the target that you're targeting. So let's get to the dice tray and see whether the Faceless Emperor can pull this one off. We're up against the Ghost Miner, so we're going to need to roll a 6 or more for this to go off. That's not a good start. So there is no residual damage. However, the tiger does appear. That's not a good start at all. So I wanted to do the 16. However, what that does mean is the tiger can come in here, and now the tiger is going to attack that ghost over there. 19. That's good. So that's 6 damage to the green ghost. The ghosts start on 40. So I will move them down when I can find their tokens, and we will move on to the next move. So next up is Sir Erick, and Sir Erick can move 6. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let me just make sure whether that is mobbed, not adjacent. So we're not mobbed with that position, which is a bit frustrating, but that's okay. It's okay. So Sir Erick is going to do a normal attack, and Sir Erick is going to do a shield of faith. Okay, a shield of faith. So that is going to be 10 damage, and also I become protected. So let's go back over to the dice tray. Once again, needing a 6, a 14, plenty. Actually, I needed a 4 because I get a +2 on that roll. So the shield of faith does 10 damage. So that means that the grey dwarf miner or ghost miner is going to go down by 10 health points. Let's move over to the other corridor. Right then, on this side we have Liana and we have Renkyr. So the first person who's going to move is going to be Renkyr, and he is going to roll charge down. He has a movement of 5, so we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then he is going to be within range to do Dragon Blood. Okay, so that is 2 dice because I'm blessed, and is 11 damage. So let's see if he can manage to do this. Okay, 2 dice, needing 6. Oh, he needs both of them. He gets a 7, so it goes off. So that causes that Ghost Miner damage. Let's go and see what Liana can do. So Liana has a move of 6, so she can go a bit further, which is good, because it means that she can get down next to this guy, and then she can do her Revenge of the Seas. Now what that means is that when she gets attacked, which she almost certainly will, she is then going to be able to make another basic attack if this goes off, because that is really cool. She also, as tactics, will hit a target that is adjacent to at least one of your allies on your first hit of the turn, so it will do an extra 4 damage if it goes off. No, it won't, because they're not adjacent, but maybe next time. Maybe next time. Pay attention, Andrew. Anyway, let's get over to the dice tray and see what happens. Alright, needing a 6. Come on, Liana. Gets a 3. That is not what we wanted. So that was Revenge of the Seas. So it's 5 residual damage on the orange one. So the orange dwarf miner, ghost miner, is down to 24. Right, that's all of my moves. Let's get to the evil turn. First up, let's draw the first evil power card. So the first evil power card is Malicious Justice. All villains are hastened. Attack a hero whose basic attack is ranged within 6 squares of you. If not possible, use the basic strategy. So I have no ranged heroes, so it's going to be basic strategy. And because it says attack, it doesn't say use your basic attack, then we use the normal attack in every case. So we're going to move across from left to right. We're going to get to attack with the bosses, and this could be quite dramatic. So let's focus in first of all on the left hand side, nearest us here. We'll get that zoomed in now, and let's see what happens. So we have a Ghost Miner. A Ghost Miner does 12 damage and also moves the target 1 square towards the nearest hero, which is a bit strange because, yeah, I don't know why you do that. And obviously they've got rid of their lethargy because they've been attacked. So, first of all, this Ghost Miner here, the grey one, is going to attempt to attack the one with the least energy, least health points. And because we've got Sir Erick on 70, and we've got the Faceless Emperor on 60, that means that he is going to attack the Faceless Emperor. So let's see what damage he can do. Right then, here we go. So the Faceless Emperor has a defense of 7, so let's see what this can roll. A 3, so that is a miss. However, the miss on these is actually pretty bad as well. The miss is 8 residual. So the Faceless Emperor takes 8 damage. Let's move on to the next fight. The next fight is going to be interesting. The last game I played, this didn't actually happen. So the next fight is going to be between this, the Tiger and the Ghost Miner. So let's see how that goes, because I think that Ghost Miner is definitely going to attack the Tiger. He's not going to try and move past to attack the Faceless Emperor. I think that wouldn't make any sense. So let's see what goes on with this fight. Okay, so needing a 6, I believe. Yes, needing a 6. Get a 10. So that is 12 damage to the Tiger, which is not good because it only starts on 25, and moves it 1 square towards the nearest hero. So there we are, that's moved that way. So let's move over to the next fight. Next up we have the Ghost Lord, who is going to do a soul explosion at 8 squares of range, which does 14 damage, and all heroes adjacent, which will include, because I've made the mistake of putting them adjacent, will take 10 damage. However, on a miss, the target takes 10 damage. So this could be pretty painful. So let's see what happens. Let's get that dice rolling and see whether the Ghost Lord can cause some damage to the Faceless Emperor, that is who he is going to attack. Right, here goes. Needing a 7 to cause damage, gets a 14. This is bad news. So the Faceless Emperor takes 14 damage, and unfortunately Sir Erick takes 10 because he's too close. So we'll move that on the track, and we'll move round to the next fight. So we have another ranged attack to do. This time it is the Ghost Mage, who also does some pretty bad attacks. So this is going to target Liana. Now remember that Revenge of the Seas didn't go off, but if it had gone off, then that would have been cool because she would have been able to do an attack on the Ghost Miner there. But it's not going to go off because she didn't actually manage to hit with that attack, did she? So she has a defense of 7. So let's see whether the Ghost Mage can cause some major damage to Liana. Need to roll a 7. Gets a 14. Okay, so let's have a look at that because I think there's actually additional damage here. So the Ghost Mage does 12 damage plus effect, and the effect is the target takes plus 4 damage if it is adjacent to a ghost, and Liana is adjacent to a ghost. So yeah, that's not cool. Let's do that damage and move on to the fight with the Ghost Miner. Now it's the turn of the Ghost Miner here to attack Liana, and I need to not forget there's a red one to move as well. So the Ghost Miner is now going to attack Liana with his normal attack. Okay, needing a 7 again. Goes off, so that is another 12 damage to Liana. Ouch. So now the red Ghost Mage can move up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is within his move because he's move of 6. And now he is going to try to attack Liana again with the same type of attack as his friend next to him. Right, they're needing a 7 again. Let's see whether Liana can ride out this attack. That is a 9, so that means that she takes, yes, another 16 points of damage. And that's the end of the first round, so let's do a little bit of analysis of where we're at. So where are we at? We are at ouchies. We have 2 of our own characters down here. We've got the Tiger on 13 hit points, and Liana on 18. And we've even managed to take some wounds for Erick because of being too close to the Faceless Emperor when the attack from the Ghost Lord went off. So there's a couple of mistakes been made there. This ranged attacks happening all the time through walls is really, really powerful, as has been said. But we're going to carry on. We're going to see whether we can fight our way through this and whether we can manage to fail to die. But right now, I'm not feeling very positive. But then at the beginning of the game yesterday, I also wasn't feeling very positive and I ended up winning. So we'll see what's going to happen. So what I'll do is we will start over on this side again. So we'll zoom in on this little fight here and we'll resolve these fights and then we'll move over to the other side. So I will have a quick look and find out what I'm going to do first, and I'll bring you back when I've made that decision. Right then, let's get this done. Let's do some real damage and start to kill off some of these Ghost Miners. So first of all, we're going to do 2 basic attacks here from both the Faceless Emperor and then his Tiger, and also from Sir Erick onto this grey Miner. So I'm just going to do the big attacks that I can do. I of course have the special ready, but I'm not going to use the special this turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to do, first of all, the Faceless Emperor is going to attack. I'm going to do a Imperial Assault, which is 13 damage. So there is okay, so copy paste a passive power from an enemy within 4 squares until the start of your next turn. Now the problem we've got with the passive power with the Faceless Emperor is I don't think these have any passive powers. So never mind. But we're going to do that attack, so let's see whether we can get that to actually cause some damage. Right then, we're needing a 6 for this to go off. Get an 8, so it looked like it was going to be a 20 for a second then, but it rolled back to an 8. But that's good because that means that the attack has gone off. Straight away, the Tiger is also going to attack because that's when he does, so needing a 6. Gets a 4. That is absolutely terrible because it's a basic attack. There is no miss, so that just doesn't happen. That's terrible. Next up, Sir Erick here is going to do one of his attacks. He is going to do a Shield of Faith, and also his passive will actually trigger because the enemy starts his turn adjacent to you and the first target of its attack isn't you, which is going to be the case because unfortunately the Faceless Emperor is the lowest health, so almost certainly is going to be him, and the enemy will have a -2 penalty to its first roll and 4 damage, so that's pretty cool. So anyway, we shall do Shield of Faith. So we have a +2 bonus to our roll. So let's see whether Sir Erick can do some damage. Needing a 6 or a 4 even. Gets a 13. So that is going to do 10 damage to our friend the dwarf, and frustratingly, if the tiger had managed to pull his attack off, then that would be down to 1 health, which is quite annoying. But anyway, let's see what happens with the next fight. So back over to this mess. We're going to do 2 basic attacks here as well. So first of all, Renkyr is going to go in and do a basic attack on the orange dwarf. So the basic attack he is going to do is Searing Vengeance. Okay, so that means that if I miss, I do more damage. So let's see what happens with this. So once again, needing a 6. Gets a 20. That's really cool. So that is 11 damage plus 5 for it being a crit, so 16 damage. The target is cursed. Cursed means roll twice and use the worst result. So for the next attack, which is going to come from Liana, I get to roll 2 dice. So we've done 16 damage to the orange dwarf, which takes it down to 8. Oh, down to 8. And then Circle of Retribution is enemy starts its turn adjacent to you and includes you as a target of its attack. That is probably not going to happen, but never mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to now attack with Liana straight away. So I get to roll 2 dice, and we are going to do Revenge of the Seas again. So let's see, and we're going to target the orange one because we can kill it outright. So let's see if we can get a 6 or more. I get an 8 and a 7, so that's very good news. So the orange is dead, and the passive tactics doesn't go off because, well, it's dead. So there we are. Maybe I should have attacked the red one, because I would have then done 15 damage rather than killing one off. But anyway, that's 1 fewer to attack me. So now it's time for the enemy turn, so let's see what happens with that. All right, next, Evil Power card. Okay, villains are hastened and ignore effects applied by heroes and all combatants. Command, attack the hero with the lowest defense within 6 squares of you. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. So he still can attack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah. However, that's really frustrating. Still within range, even though it's only within 6. So what we're going to do is we're going to move through and do the resolve the attacks in the same order. So we will start off over here. What we have over here, just to describe this, we have the grey dwarf and we have the green dwarf who can move in. Then we will have over here the Ghost Lord will be able to do a ranged attack. Then over here we move to the other side and the Ghost Mage can do a ranged attack, but that will only be against Renkyr because he cannot reach Liana within 6. And then we've got 1 more of the miners. So let's do that in order. We'll start at the beginning and we'll see what the results of this round of fighting is. Of these, the hero with the lowest hit points is the Faceless Emperor. So once again, this Ghost Miner is going to attack the Faceless Emperor with its primary attack. So let's see what happens. As always, Faceless Emperor, defense of 7. So let's see. Gets a 12. That's not what we wanted. So what that means is, because I didn't move, the Ghost Miner will take 12 damage and will move the Faceless Emperor 1 square towards the nearest hero. So let's do that. So 12 damage and moving 1 square. And let's have a look at what's going to happen next. Next up, we have the green one. And the green one is going to come in 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I do need to just double check the tiger, but whether he can do reaction attacks. Can I make primary, special or reaction attacks? No, we can't. So we can just move around. That's fine. I thought so. So he's moved around and he's now going to do a basic attack against the Faceless Emperor again. Once again, defense of 7, gets a 4. So that's only 8 damage. So that's not quite as bad as 12. So let's see what happens with the next of the fights. The Faceless Emperor is down to 18 health, by the way, joining Liana as the lowest of the health. So now the first of the major ranged attacks from the Ghost Lord. We can count across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the Faceless Emperor is within range of his basic attack of Soul Explosion, and that does mean that if this goes off, then Sir Erick takes another 10 as well because he's still adjacent. So let's see whether this can actually cause the damage. Defense of 7, let's have a look. Gets a 12, that's not what we needed. So there's going to be 14 damage on the Faceless Emperor and 10 damage on Sir Erick. Let's move around to the other side of the board and see what's going to happen there. This is going south rather fast. So first of all, we've got a ranged attack against Renkyr. So this is going to be the Ghost Mage who is going to be carrying this out. Renkyr has a defense of 7 as well. So let's see whether the Ghost Mage can cause damage to Renkyr. Defense of 7, let's see what happens. It's a 19, so that does cause the damage. So the damage for the Ghost Mage is 12 damage and plus 4, so 16 damage because he is adjacent to a ghost. So 16 damage on Renkyr. Ouch. The last fight for the round is going to be the Red Dwarf Ghost Miner, and he is going to attack Liana. Now Liana will be able to do a basic attack if this goes off, but I still hope it doesn't because I don't want Liana to take more damage because she's already quite weakened. So let's see what happens when this Ghost Miner attacks Liana. Liana's defense is also 7, so let's see what we can roll. Gets a 13. Ouch. So that again is 16 damage, which is going to be quite bloody because that takes her down to 2 health. However, she can now move 1 square and make a base of attack. So I'm going to move over to pick up the flask that was dropped by the dead what's-it, so that's good. And then I'm going to make a basic attack against the Red Dwarf. So that is going to cause 7 damage if it goes off. So let's see if we can roll more than a 6. And we can. So we cause 7 damage to the Red Dwarf, which is the first damage that one's taken. So that's the end of the round. Let's see where we're at. Where we're at is pretty not in a good place. This here is Liana. This here is the Faceless Emperor. This here is the Grey Dwarf here, and this here is the Tiger here. That is not a good ratio of goodie to baddie on the bottom track. At the top we have Renkyr and we have Sir Erick next to each other, which is also not good because Sir Erick last game I played basically took no damage at all. I've just positioned him very badly, stood here next to that. I should have moved further around and been less greedy. But you live and learn, and I will live and I will learn and I will not make that mistake again. So what we're going to do is, oh yes, and also I picked up the flask. The flask which Liana has is incendiary oil. So that calls all combatants within a 3x3 area and you get 10 damage per hit. It says all combatants, so you risk hitting yourself or hitting your mates. So let's use that one with caution if we use it at all. So moving on to the next round, let's have a look and see what we're going to do, see how we're going to actually clear this grey miner away, and then the green miner is doing really well. He's up there on 34 health, and yeah, it's looking rather like I'm not even going to get out of these corridors. But let's see what happens. Let's carry on playing. This is an interesting one. I think what I need to do is I need to attack the green miner with the Faceless Emperor, and then take out the grey miner with the Tiger if I can, and then Sir Erick can come round and can mob the green and we'll be able to do more damage that way. So that's the strategy I'm going to have in this fight. So first of all, the Faceless Emperor is going to do his normal attack, one of his basic attacks, which is going to be the Imperial Assault. So we're going to do an Imperial Assault against the Green Dwarf Miner, Ghost Miner, whatever it's called. Right then, so needing a 6. Gets a 5. You see, this is also not helping because I'm not rolling very well. So that does 5 residual damage. So 34 down to 29. Okay, so now we're going to straight away do the attack of the Tiger against the grey one, needing a 6. Gets a 20, that's a waste, but at least the grey dwarf is dead. So now what we're going to do is come back and have a look at the move of what Erick is going to do to try to mob the final dwarf. I could really have done with that critical from the Faceless Emperor, but never mind. That's how the dice tumble. So what we have is we have Sir Erick here, and Sir Erick is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is going to mean that he is now mobbing the Green Dwarf Miner, Ghost Miner, and then he is going to do one of his basic attacks. He is going to do Shield of Faith. Shield of Faith. So let's see what damage we can do here with this one mobbed. As the Ghost Miner is mobbed, that means they're exposed, which means that they're -3 defense, which means that I need to roll a 3 or more for this to go off. Get a 17, so that's good. So that was Shield of Faith. Actually, I needed anything but a 1 because it's a +2 bonus to your roll. So that is a 10 damage on the Green Ghost Miner. Takes him down to 19. So now let's have a look and see what we can do over on this side with the other corridor and see whether we can get rid of that ghost as well. So over this side, as I say, we have the red Ghost Miner who is sitting pretty on 33 health at the moment, so we're almost certainly not going to get rid of it this time, unless of course I do something that does a humongous amount of damage, like potentially Mark of Death. So I'm going to do the Mark of Death on this with Renkyr, so that's going to be my special. What that does is it's 25 damage plus a permanent effect, and that means that it doesn't need to be adjacent to you to trigger your Circle of Retribution, which is a little bit of a waste maybe, but I need to get through this. I just need to get through these and try to actually get a little bit further in the round before I completely die. So, and it's looking like that's not going to happen. So let's try and get rid of this ghost and move on. So I'm going to try and do Mark of Death. The good thing with Mark of Death is if I fail, then it just doesn't go off. I don't actually lose the card, and I get 15 residual damage. So it's actually pretty cool. So if we can get ourselves a 6, get an 18, that's great. So that means that the red Ghost Miner takes 25 damage, taking him from 33 down to 8. Wow, there we are. So maybe I can finish him off with Liana. Liana is going to do a Blackwater Taint right now. May as well just do that straight away without moving, because it's the same thing, because this may finish off that particular sudden. And what that means now is that we have a potion on the, or a flask on the board. Let's go and have a look and see what moves we're going to do over there. So here you can see that Liana has only done 1 move, so she still has a move available, and she has a move of 6. So she can go 1, 2, pick up another flask. That gives her 2 flasks, which is sufficient. Oil of Impact. So it is a 13 damage and move the target 4. So she's done 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's her movement. So she is moved, and that is not going to help very much because she's still within range of the Ghost Mage and will certainly die this turn because she only has 2 health. So yeah, let's have a look and see what happens with the enemy turn. Right then, first up, let's draw the Evil Power card and see what happens with that. So the Evil Power is Vicious Punishment. Villains are hastened and empowered once per turn. Attack the hero with the lowest health points within 6 squares of you. So, Have I managed to get Liana 6 squares away from here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have. So she will last one more round. That's amazing. However, I don't think that the Faceless Emperor is going to be as lucky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the Faceless Emperor is not going to be as lucky and will therefore die this turn. And I believe that means that the tiger will also disappear. Yes, if the Emperor dies or the special attacks effect is removed, remove the tiger. So we could be looking at a twofer here, which is not really what we wanted to have happen. But anyway, so first of all, enemy attacks. Let's do the little dwarf miner down here, who is probably going to be the one that will actually kill the Faceless Emperor. So if we zoom in, we can see that down here we have our attack here, and we have this little dwarf who is now going to attack the Faceless Emperor. So let's see what happens. So I think no matter what happens here, I think that the Faceless Emperor is about to die. So let's see what we roll. We roll a 14. That is definitely enough to kill the Faceless Emperor. So he goes away. His health card goes there. The tiger is removed, but does not drop anything. So that takes him away. And that is a very bad thing that just happened. So let's move on to the next attack, which is going to be from the Ghost Lord. Now the Ghost Lord only has one target. So the Ghost Lord is going to target Sir Erick with his Soul Explosion, which is pretty nasty. So let's see what happens with that. Right then, so Sir Erick is defense 8. So let's see. Gets a 10, that's enough. So that's 14 damage. 14 damage. So it takes him from 50 down to 36. Okay, let's do the next attack. The next attack is the Ghost Mage that you can see on the left of the screen, who is going to go up against Renkyr here, who is within 6 because Liana managed to dodge and get away from the range and get out of range for this one turn, which is probably a little bit pointless because you're going to die next turn, but whatever. So let's see whether Renkyr can survive this or at least only take 10 points and not 14. So Renkyr has a defense of 7, so let's see what happens.